folks, this is again Spectre, Tesla Spectre, today with a huge comparison of different settings for recording road trips with Teslas. So I will do comparisons of different apps for the iPhone, different holders for the iPhone, and compare all of them to the GoPro Hero 9, which I just bought, both ones with the extra stabilization and ones without. So let's see how that goes. What is the same for all of them is the holder. I use the Delkin Fat, let me have a look what it's really called. Yeah, it's the Delkin Fat Gecko. Officially it's a triple mount, but actually I split it apart. I always use one which is just a separate part of the three for the recording right now, right on the screen, and a double under the roof, which I then use, for example, to record the screen itself. But today it's only about this one on the windscreen. So there I will compare all, and I will use exactly the same small street, small trip that I do in Prague, in an area where you have particularly rough ground, let's say. So you have a lot of movement here and there. So it should show. Let's see how it works. So we start with this, the Ipow Universal phone. Basically it's a holder, and we will see how it works. It got fantastic reviews, very good reviews by more than 1,100 people. You can probably hear already whether it's so stable. This was the first I bought. It costs 10 euros. Links to all these things are below. So let's see how it works with that one. And on the phone, I will just use the original iPhone camera app without any extra stabilization. So it just has the natural stabilization, which the iPhone has included anyway.
So here we have the first setup. We use the Ipow holder and the iPhone XR just with the native camera app. And just also to tell you a little bit about the test road that I use here, on the strip of road. This is a quite nice up and coming part of Prague, and I chose it because while they redid a lot of concrete on the different streets in Prague, for some weird reasons, two of the crossroads here where trams are going, or like here they're not even crossing from both sides, they left the cobblestones on. And of course that is excellent to test, particularly the stabilization of the camera. And also today I thought it is quite nice to have a test of how the different camera settings interact or react to the different light situations, because it's a very sunny winter day. So we have shaded areas and very, very sunny areas. And when we turn around under the bridge, we also have the sun right into our face, as you could have seen. So let's see that. And just one thing also to mention is that this Ipow holder is really difficult to fix. And if you leave it, for example, in the position to put the iPhone in cinema mode, the screw tends to unscrew itself due to its vibrations and get lost somewhere in the car. So the next setup is now again the Ipow holder, this time with the Cam 8 app, which costs 199 Czech crowns or approximately 8 euros for the iPhone XR. And what is important about this app is that what I like about it is pretty intuitive, and you can adjust everything manually if you want to. I left it now on auto, but that is just a huge, nice opportunity. Of course, like all the apps, the stabilization is only achieved digitally, obviously, because it does not use any different lens or something. And I think that what you should also know when I drove the car, you could always see the Ipow holder really shaking while driving, so that the apps have really a hard job keeping the picture pretty much stable. By the way, also maybe a side info that is interesting for you. Of course, the Czech Republic is really a bit more still at the beginning of electric vehicle history, let's say. One is an early adopter. The majority of cars here, EVs, are Teslas. But you have a lot of nice opportunities to charge for free, for example, at the Elsa shops, or what you might know in your country also, Kaufland. Usually, at least for free, are only the AC chargers. Yeah, the third setup is now, again, the Ipow Holder, iPhone XR, but this time with a Filmic Pro app, which is by far the most expensive one, 379 Czech crowns. That's approximately 15 euros. Well, one also has to say, if we say expensive 15 euros, it's of course all pretty relative, because if you have to buy any accessories for normal, even digital cameras, 15 euros is pretty much nothing. Still, it's very expensive in comparison to, well, the for free app of Apple or also the Pro Cam. It has some quite nice features, but I have to say, somehow, me myself, I did not really get warm with it. I don't know why. It might be that I'm just not made for it. But somehow I always had trouble, especially to get the light correct if I wanted to have as little vibrations as possible. Particularly now, of course, with this Ipow holder, where vibrations were still a big issue for me. And somehow it was usually that there was far too much light in the pictures when I was driving, that even sometimes destroyed some of the road movies that I tried to do. It has a lot of opportunities to do everything set up manually, but factually, I think, at least for me as an amateur, it does not seem to be superior to the Pro Cam 8. And we will see. I will also then do a small comparison of all the different videos and the critical points of them at the very end. So that was this setup.
The one I show you now is from Arnarkok. That's a full metal, not full metal jacket, but full metal holder, which you can fix in every direction. For example, you can open the to make it easy, so that here, for example, you can now put it in the phone and then you fix it here that it cannot open, you lock it. You can adjust the angle here, and it's all tough metal, and you can even add, for example, flash down here, and you can just fix everything. So I will put that on and then start with the next round of tests.
So now in the fourth setting, we have the Arnarkok holder with the iPhone XR and just the native camera app. One aspect to the holder, which is not totally ideal, is that in order to adjust the angle, which at least you can do, as I said, in contrast to the Ipow, you'd need a screwdriver for that. Nothing special, one of the standard ones, but it doesn't work without. And I thought, to make the video maybe a bit more fun, I also give you a few trivia of the Czech Republic and how it is to live here. And I have to say, one of the things I adore here is the Czech humor, because it is self-ironic and not like in Germany, usually comedians then making fun about others. In general, I like the people here. I'm really fine with it. And there's one major difference to Germany. We as Germans, we really like to tell people what to do, just even if we're not asked, like, for example, whether they should park somewhere or not. Czechs, on the other hand, prefer not to interfere with you at all. They leave you alone. And I had to learn that the hard way, but now I really like it. Because on the other hand, what is also nice in the Czech Republic is that since we have speed limits on the highways, people also adhere to them. They do not insist to drive mega fast. There's a small percentage of people which really drives faster than the 130, well, maybe 35 speed limit. I would say about 5%. Next fun fact about the Czech Republic. People here, we love to go for lunch. Everybody goes out for lunch, and accordingly, the restaurants always have special lunch menus, which are about 50 to 70% of the normal prices very often. They are very fastly served, but usually they are in Czech. So you might have to ask for them and maybe ask somebody to translate. And of course, you also have to know it is very likely that you might go to one of these tourist trap restaurants in the center on the way to the castle or something, and they usually don't provide it. But in general, I would not recommend that. I would recommend you go to restaurants where you hear people speaking Czech among the customers. Another part which might be interesting is parking in the Czech Republic. In general, mainly also in the residential areas, you see a lot of blue zones, and don't even think about parking there, because you will be told, you will be fined. That is only for residents. And you can look for the white zones. There it's possible to park. It's of course usually not for free, like in all big cities, except if you have an EV, because an electric vehicle can park anywhere in any of the zones. Even the purple ones, which I think are for delivery. Please, if you know better, one of the ones who watch the video, just please correct me in the comments. But in any case, they are for free if they have an EL license plate, or you can register your car if you have a different license plate. So please check that out, because when you come here, you can register and then you can park practically for free everywhere. Yeah, and here we are now at the 6th and last setup for the iPhone with the Filmic Pro app and the Arnarkok Holder. And one thing I just wanted to address, a lot of you will probably come to Prague at one point as tourists, and there are, of course, like in all big cities, there are things you might not want to do. One of them is to change money. You can also check out the videos of Honest Guy. I will put a link into the description. In general, just don't do it. First of all, you don't need any cash, because here you can pay absolutely everything with very few exceptions by credit card or Apple Pay, Google Pay, whatever that is on the Android phones. I have an iPhone, so I don't know really. But you can pay everything by card. You absolutely do not need cash money. If you need cash money, simply go to one of the big banks, not this Euronet or something. Go to one of the normal standard banks and just withdraw money. Of course, you have a worse exchange rate, that's clear, because you want to buy a currency. But that's the safest and best way. Do never, ever exchange cash money at any of these exchange offices. The Honest Guy made very nice videos on that, and it's just a waste of money, it's a waste of time, completely useless. Nobody needs that here. So this is now the second last setup with the GoPro Hero Black 9 without Stabilisation Boost, which is new to me because I have it brand new, of course, but I also never use it without the boost. So let's see. And by the way, there, a Zoe. That's a nice car. In any case, another maybe fun fact, it's about EVs in the Czech Republic. As I said, it's still not standard, and one of the reasons is that EVs are very, very expensive, which maybe also explains why if you buy it, then a lot of people buy Tesla. That's probably Tesla Model 3 is around 30 to 40% of the EVs you see here. And they are expensive for two reasons. First of all, we do not have any subsidy for private people, not anything comparable to what Germany has. Secondly, even the list price, for example, of a Tesla is around 15, maybe more percent more expensive than it is in Germany, considering that the average income here is 50% of that of Germany makes these cars really expensive. And except for parking, the only real advantage we have is that you don't have to pay when you go on the highway, no highway toll. So that's an advantage. Last fun fact you might be interested in, the most important car in the Czech Republic is of course Škoda, not Skoda, it's Škoda. And this factually means pity. So you would say to je Škoda if you want to say, oh, that's a pity, which seems to be a quite funny name for a car company. Now we reached the eighth and final setup with the GoPro Hero Black 9 with Stabilisation Boost. So one thing that I just wanted to mention, what I really do not like about the GoPro is that all the accessories have to be brought extra. Pretty much nothing comes with it, not even a tripod adapter, which I think everybody would need. The only thing that came with it was a holder for a helmet with a 3M tape, so quite fixed, but still, that's not the greatest. You need more if you want to start, so you have to buy some things extra right away. But there we are. So I think this is now quite probably the most complex video that I've so far done. I feel a little bit like a micro Björn Nyland. If you don't know him, I will put a link to his channel in the description. For me, he's the best when it comes to testing electric vehicles. So we have now tested 8 different settings. And what I will now do at the very end is that I want to do some cuts of the roughest parts, basically this one part in the beginning, and just really directly compare the different apps. Let's see what that brings us. So, and now let's compare all the different choices. First of all, we have the iPhone XR with the native camera app on the left side with the Ipow holder, on the right side with the Arnarkok holder. To me, very clear result in favor of Arnarkok. Now, the same with the Pro Cam app. I think it is already smoother, but still, for me, very clear that the Arnarkok holds much better. Next, we have the Filmic app. The result is very similar again. It always wins the Arnarkok over the Ipow. And now let's see the two GoPro versions without boost on the left, with the boost on the right. I think there is a conceivable difference, to me at least. Definitely the Stabilisation Boost wins. And that leads to the final ranking. So my choices would be, the least convincing combination to me is the original iOS Cam App with the cheap Ipow holder. On place 7 is Filmic Pro with the same holder, and the Pro Cam 8 is the best of the 3 with that holder. And when it comes to the Arnarkok, we have again the same ranking. We have first the Cam, better was the Filmic, and then the Pro Cam. The clear winners for me are the GoPro versions, and the absolute winner of this comparison is the GoPro Hero 9 Black with Stabilisation Boost. So if you liked the video, I would be thrilled if you could give it a like and maybe also subscribe, and maybe also have a view at my other videos. For example, I did a nice winter ride with my car, and I also had a look at the influence of elevation on consumption. See you soon.